These two don't even know what they're talking about. You're watching Unqualified Analysts.
Leaving Ole Miss was extremely difficult decision. And in that, we tried every single thing possible to continue to coach the team through the playoffs and to continue to coach the players. In the end, that was their decision, and we totally respect that and appreciate the time and energy that we tried to figure out a plan to do the best thing at the time for those players.
These two don't even know what they're talking about. You're watching Unqualified Analysts.
Welcome to episode 2 of Unqualified Analysts with Robbie and Kev. We have a very special guest this evening, Miss Meagan Glover, sports anchor from WGNO New Orleans. Welcome to the show, Meg.
Welcome, Meg. Welcome.
The applause.
Kevin got the effects.
Well, we appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, man, you know, this is not your first time on Unqualified Analysts, but it's not your first time with Night Train Media. You know, we've done a few things since episode 2 of the Night Train a few months ago, but most definitely glad to have you back.
No doubt. The sky's only the limit. I love that things are growing with the night train, if you will. I know we're going to be talking about maybe the Lane train pretty soon here, but yeah. Appreciate y'all.
I like that.
Hey, well, that's a great segue, Megan. I know you know how to do this. You're on TV every day, so before we went live, I told her tonight, Robbie and myself, we're learning from you tonight. So
Absolutely.
I don't like this pressure.
no, come on now. Well, I mean, you already brought us there. We had some big news released over the weekend. A lot of back and forth on whether or not Mr. Lane Kiffin was going to leave Ole Miss, whether he was going to come over to LSU. If he did take the job, was he going to coach, in the playoffs for him? So, as we all know, since then, LSU has been hired by Lane Kiffin has been hired by LSU, and he was introduced yesterday. We were playing the footage just now before the show started. But look, man, from your insider, being in the news station and being at the press conferences, what were you all hearing leading up to it? And what were the reactions at the press conference yesterday?
I mean, leading up to it, it sounds like it was a done deal, but as everyone knows now, of course, Lane wanted to continue to coach Ole Miss for however long their season was going to take them, CFP and everything like that. And their athletics director, Keith Carter, said, no, that's not going to work. And so that seemed to be the issue of what pushback, or that was the pushback, rather, on him officially, with just kind of like the done deal with LSU and it actually being announced. And so that was the rumblings with it. Now, I'll be honest and up front, I honestly did not think that Lane was going to leave Ole Miss for many reasons. But that was the rumblings leading up to. So now it's a done deal. He did speak, yes, or he did. He was officially introduced on Monday. And he spoke a lot about that situation, how much he's always admired LSU from afar. And, of course, afar means the other sidelines in some cases. It was about taking the best job in America with the best resources. He confided in Nick Saban and Pete Carroll and kind of leaned on the teachings of his late dad, Lane Kiffin. And now he's here. And it's going to be very interesting to see what Lane and his unique offense brings to what was a struggling offense for LSU, especially this past season.
Yeah, Robbie and I were talking in the first episode of the possibility of him coming, right? So, now he's here. Now, not being at the press conference, it still looked like the energy in Baton Rouge was day and night versus, we've been having all the drama with Brian Kelly and his buyout, the lawsuit, and then you get that notification that, yeah, you're fired now. It's official. And now we're working on hiring somebody else. And in BK's offense, he was saying he couldn't get a job because of this lingering lawsuit. But, really, though, was he really looking? You got $54 million coming your way. Are you really looking for another job?
I wouldn't be looking. I'm chilling me.
But, look, it's weird seeing Lane Kiffin in a LSU purple, the LSU lapel pin, because for many years he's been in the SEC. You know, he had that short stint at USC, but he's been Tennessee, he's been Ole Miss, and Megan, I think you and I were at the Ole Miss game, right?
Yeah, the overtime win.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like seeing him now in that purple and gold when just a month ago, or when, you know, we were at Ole Miss, that wasn't even a thought.
Yeah, facts. And that was kind of alludes to one of my reasons that I didn't think he would leave, because I think Lane Kiffin was in such a great position at Ole Miss to where I kept saying he asked Ole Miss to jump. They say how high. Obviously, that wasn't the situation like I thought it was now. But I just think that when they had such a historic run, especially this season, I mean, the most wins in program history, 3 consecutive 10-win seasons, and of course the CFP, however that looks for them in the future. I just think like Lane Kiffin had Ole Miss football literally in his hands, and so I did not think that he was going to make the jump. And I know there are some differences between if he should have coached the team going to the rival that is LSU. I don't think Ole Miss and LSU is a rival, but I don't know. It's kind of surreal, even considering the fact that I've been covering it for the last few days, and I was at the press conference. It really hasn't settled in with me yet that Lane Kiffin is now the head coach at LSU. It really just don't sound right at all.
Yeah, because when you look at, it was really abrupt. I mean, I understand why it had to be like that. People go back and forth all the time about the academic schedule versus the collegiate schedule as far as in sports. You have the playoff coming up. Honestly, man, that's a tough decision to say, man, we're making the playoffs. And we wouldn't be here without me. I want to coach it, but I understand from Ole Miss's, perspective, you leaving us high and dry. You gone. If you want to leave, leave. So,
yeah, facts.
Yeah,
I did see. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I mean, like we talked about last episode, right? I mean, if I get that side of it from Ole Miss, I really do. But they're going to live the flip side of that now, where you don't have your play caller. Now, from what I saw earlier, what is it? Charlie Weiss is junior's going back, right? So he'll be the offensive coordinator for the run.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he's coming back to Baton Rouge, right? So, I mean, if you're going to let him do that, what's the difference in letting Lane do it, right? So I get it. He's the one that burned you, but you're going to let him come back and run the offense, which I guess good for them. At least they have a good shot now to still keep their offense together a little bit. But if you're Ole Miss, you haven't been championship relevant almost ever. And you got a shot. He's leaving no matter what. He's going. And if you really think that him staying one more month through a playoff run is going to cost you more players, I mean, when the transfer portal opens and the season's over, they're going to leave anyway. He's been with them long enough. If they want to keep playing for him, they're going to leave anyway. So you might as well get a chip out of it if you can. I guess that's the way I look at it. Not everybody looks at it that way, obviously. But I think if you're Ole Miss, you should have thrown your best shot you had at it. Like, yeah, he has a job he wants that he's not willing to pass up on, once-in-a-lifetime job maybe for him. And that's what he's going for. That's his point of view. But why sacrifice the ending of your season with your play caller and the guy that's brought you all this way over the last 6 years? I guess because you're pissed. And I don't blame you for being pissed. But, just my point of view on that one.
Facts. Like, I think it's, unfortunately, I do believe partially it's emotionally charged. Ain't no telling what went on between the meetings that led up to. But I do think that in the end, it kind of hurts everybody because of how it was, like, not only handled, but you carry Ole Miss this far, and you said, like, championship relevant where they are now, and they can't even, or I guess Lane can't necessarily finish what he started in that sense. But I don't know. That's an unfortunate situation how it all fell, but I do understand both sides at the end of the day.
How do we think they're going to actually do without him?
I think because the staff, I mean, with the exception of Lane, I think the continuity or the chemistry between the staff and the players, I believe they actually still do fine. I mean, it kind of sucks because before we actually hopped on, like I was on Twitter and a lot of the players on Twitter saying, "No, Lane ain't said what he said to us." That's another, that's another deal.
Yeah.
But I think for the sake of you got here this far, like hopefully it doesn't. They shouldn't fall off a cliff just because the head coach not there. It just sucks that he is not there to finish what he started.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he doesn't have the best reputation of staying and finishing what he started, across his career. But I was talking to somebody at work today about it. And look, from LSU's standpoint, when you look back historically over the last 4 head coaches, 3 of them won a championship. So in the next 2-3 years, if they're able to get back and, at least make the playoffs, which I think with him coming here and his offense and the way we struggled this year, I do see them at least making it ranked 10th, 11th, 12th or whatever. But if you're LSU, look, man, if you make the playoffs first year or even second year and you get a championship out of it, it doesn't matter if you leave. I mean, we already felt that heartbreak years ago when Nick Saban left us high and dry and went to Miami. So I don't think, from a LSU standpoint, the greatest coach of all time left us. So we know how it feels, Ole Miss.
Been there,
we
done
most
that.
definitely know how it feels.
Yeah. And if history, maybe, for fans, if history repeats itself, the national championship is back in New Orleans in 2028. So, considering that Lane will still be with the Tigers by then, who knows? Who knows? The last couple years it has been New Orleans, LSU has won a chip. So,
And
We can slide on into the Superdome.
right.
yeah, because
Very nice.
in 03 it was in New Orleans. In 07 it was in New Orleans. In 19 it was in New Orleans. And when we lost to Bama, it was in New Orleans. So, we, like you
It's a
said,
thing.
huh?
It's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
You know.
I don't know what it is, but I do see them turning it around, though, man. Look, when you look at how we started the season at Clemson, we just thought, man, the defense balled out. We went on the road in a hostile environment, and we got the W against a top 5 opponent. That's what we thought. And then we come back home, and we see Louisiana Tech, and we struggled a little bit. All right, but okay, Louisiana Tech. And then we play Southeastern. It wasn't pretty. And now it's like, okay, this is a trend. Our offense is not good.
Yeah, facts. And it's like I said a couple of weeks ago, you look at the defense who had been struggling before, and now they flipped the script. And it's like that John Wall memes, one of my favorite memes, John Wall and Bradley Beal. I ain't never seen you act like this before. So to see like the phases kind of flip this past year has been very interesting, but it's also been very disappointing considering how many weapons was on this offense. It's like disappointing, it's unacceptable, it's uncharacteristic, it's frustrating how many pieces were available and they just couldn't get it together. Yeah, so however Lane looks to adjust, or bring his success in, that'll be the most interesting to me personally.
I can't wait to see what a great offense. I mean, 2019 was awesome, right? Because of what the offense was. I mean, we always love defense in Baton Rouge with LSU, but offense brings that excitement, right? And he has the offense. He always has had the offense over years and years, right? He brings that innovative offense, and I can't wait to see how he incorporates it here with some of the players we already have, plus who he's willing to bring in or who he's able to bring in, and see what it can really turn into over the next couple of years. Hopefully he can do it right away, and next year will be exciting because next year's lineup at home is going to be a fun year. I mean, we got some nice games at home next year, so it'll be absolutely entertaining if he can bring that offense here and let Tiger Stadium rock out. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, and when you look back at the footage of when he left Ole Miss, man, those people, man, they were being some Mississippi folk, man.
He said they tried to run him off the road, man.
Hey, man, look, man. What it reminded me of, Lane Kiffin know what it's like to be a black man in Mississippi back in the day. Boy, get out of here. We don't want your kind here no more. That's what it felt like, man. That's what it felt like. It was like, man, get out of here. Flipping middle finger, everything on the tarmac, man. Dang.
That's the SEC right there. When I went to the SEC, man, when I went to the Ole Miss game this season, now mind you, like, stuff like this doesn't faze me anymore. You know, student sections, they gonna say what they say, you know, whatever. But I heard one kid in the Ole Miss student section say, I don't know who he was talking to, but I know the wide receivers was on that end of the field. And he say, I hope you tell your freaking ACL. No, he didn't say freaking. But, you know, I was like, whoa, man. Like, I don't know. It ain't no chill button in the SEC at all.
No. I am. What do you think about Frank Wilson? Do you think he keeps him on the staff?
I think he would. Well, he did say that Frank will stick around, but
Okay.
I think he would have behooved him to keep Frank on the staff. I mean, like, one of the top recruiters in the country, and he's proved that time and time again. And that's going to be big for Lane because, I mean, of course, LSU is a brand that, you know, it sex sells itself, essentially. But for Frank, who has been around for so long, he knows the boot through and through. And kids know Lane Kiffin. You know, they know what he's done. But for a guy that's just shown so much success, you couldn't let him go. And I think that he would have gotten so much smoke, no pun intended, had they let him go for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that he's going to stay. I think Baker's going to stay too, right? Last we heard, or is that still on the fence?
Did he have a job interview?
He did. Yeah,
Oh, where'd he
he
go?
Tulane.
Yeah, Tulane.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't hear that one. Hey, now I know.
Today.
I know that was one of the topics we're gonna cover tonight about, I know Coach O's name was kind of brought up, but also Billy Napier's name was brought up today as well. So does he come back to Louisiana? Does Baker go over to Tulane? I don't know what the best fit for Tulane, but I know, Meg, you're in New Orleans. What are you hearing?
So yeah, Blake Baker, and I mean, it made sense only for him to interview for that job. I don't have I think this person should be it necessarily, because I guess I need to like maybe look at Ole Miss's defense and like actually like compare the numbers, if you will. But if Blake was to stay at LSU, sure, why not? He's proved that he's very capable of the success they've had, even when he came to like newer players or like players that like really stepped up, like Mansour Delane. Like, he had an incredible year. Cooley, Halsey, like all those defensive back guys, and of course you got Harold Perkins back. What he was able to do with weeks, like those are guys that like kind of go without saying. Who else they added? Pyburn had a pretty solid year as well. So if you keep Blake, then great, but whatever he's able to do with Tulane, I mean, like, is he capable of a head coaching job? Maybe. I don't know. But I know that he, for sure, was, that's like a confirmed that he did an interview with Tulane. The thing with Coach O is, I know everybody's going to look at him, and not like programs, but like fans would want to see him back in a head coaching position. He talked about being back in a head coaching position. He's there all the time. Like, I had a post on Facebook, and he was at Saturday's game against Charlotte. But the thing is, his son is on the staff, so he's always at Tulane. I don't think many fans know about his son being at Tulane. But my concern is, would he want to take a job that is not a Power 5 program? Considering the success that he's obviously had with LSU and, just other like places in the country. I'm not gonna say is it what's the word I want to use? Is it a less than? That's not the word exactly, but is it a less than job? Like, obviously he's capable of winning at the top, at the highest level, but is Tulane just let the time pass until something else comes around, or what? I don't know. That Tulane stuff is pretty interesting, but I know they want to find somebody quick. Signing day is on Wednesday, tomorrow, and whoever they get in place got to hit the ground running.
Do you think
the biggest question for me? I'm sorry, Kev.
No, go ahead.
Is what matters to Coach O, right? Because obviously we'd love to have him back in Tiger Stadium because he brings the energy, right? He can bring that enthusiasm. He can bring that drive, right? That intensity, and I think they'd love to have that back. So if he gets offered Tulane, but at the same time LSU would love to have him back, which one does he want? Do you want to go be the head coach, or were you fine coming back as an assistant head coach or something like that at LSU with a chance to make a run again, or would you just rather run the whole program? I don't know what matters to him at this point, So it's really kind of like Lane. It's kind of like, what do you want? It's his call, right? If he gets the offer, so we'll see what he wants if he gets it.
What also makes me nervous about, or maybe skeptical, even if he was to accept a job that's not in a Power 5 school, is knowing that the resources are unfortunately less than, whether that's like physical resources, the facility or so, and obviously in the age of NIL where, the money's just going to continue to rise, you won't have those same type of resources that you've had in the past. And I know, NIL was nothing compared to where it's at now, but, it wasn't, but, those same resources just won't be the same. Like, are you willing to like stick around for that? Not necessarily in terms of like, he wouldn't, see it through, he wouldn't thug it out, but knowing that like these kids, they play for Tulane for a couple of years and then move on. Whereas like at LSU, those kids want to be there, if that makes sense. Like they're not shifting as much as they would, where it's kind of like a stepping stone for some kids at a lower tier school.
So with the way it ended, LSU, I don't even know how that works as far as with the school. Let's say Lane Kiffin wants to bring him back. I know the mention of him at the press conference was, him joking about, man, this energy makes me want to talk like you, which was funny, by the way, very funny.
I know he won so many people over with that.
He did. At least he didn't come over here with a Cajun accent. See, his PR person, that was very smart of him. That was very smart. So, let's say the school approves of it, right? If Baker goes over to Tulane, does it make sense? They reunite. They were at Tennessee together. They were at USC together. And like you said, from the fans' perspective, look, they love Coach O, man. Now, he can't be running around campus shirtless like he was, now showing off their body. But, him coming back
he won't be the head dog no more. He might be able to run around. You never know.
Look, I know you don't have to listen to me, Coach O, but just advice, man. Let's just stay at the facility this year, man. If it happens, let's just stay at football ops, man. Don't go anywhere else. Let's just know.
If he went back to LSU, I think it's a win-win situation, honestly. It's as blatant as I'm going to say it. It's Coach O. It's Coach O.
The fans love him, It's, go Tigers. They love him.
Yeah.
You really can't. I don't think you can miss. If he's willing to do it and Lane's willing to have him, I don't think you can miss with it, at least for a year or two. And then if he wants to move on to another head coaching gig somewhere else, then take it and go. But they'd love to have him back for a year or two.
Yeah, but before we transition to the next topic, Night Train Media is brought to you by Blackstone Property Company in Bogalusa, Louisiana. This episode of the Night Train Podcast is brought to you by Blackstone Property Company right here in Bogalusa, Louisiana. Blackstone is all about pouring back into our community, building up our neighborhoods, and not tearing them down. They're restoring historic homes, bringing old buildings back to life, and creating spaces that Bogalusa can be proud of. When you see progress happening around the city, chances are Blackstone has its hands in it. Tap in and support a company that's truly invested in the future of our people in our hometown. Blackstone Property Company, rebuilding Bogalusa with purpose. Shout out to Blackstone for the support. As always, Robbie, you know what I'm about to say. Night Train is looking for sponsorship, baby.
I was waiting on it, man. I was waiting on it.
Look, every episode.
You half an hour in, you ain't even said it yet.
Hey, look, unlimited spots available. All right? Unlimited spots. Just because you see Blackstone name on this screen doesn't mean we won't accept your money. Okay?
Give me a hat with a logo on it. I'll wear the hat, man.
Yes.
Some merch.
Yes. Hey, just kind of want to talk about the, Bayou Classic that happened over the weekend. Look, man, Southern has had a tough season.
You were at the game, weren't you?
Yes, I was at the game,
tough
man.
as
How was it?
Had a mix-up with my credential, man. I thought I was going to be in the press box, and then they gave me a field pass, right? So didn't have a single camera on me. I said, look, so now y'all know this, right? So when you're on the sideline, in bold, when you get that email to say, okay, you've been approved, hey, no cell phones. You got to make sure you have a camera on you, right? So thing is, I didn't have a camera on me. I took my cameras out the truck, left them at the house, because I'm not going to leave my cameras in the Dome parking lot. It's New Orleans, okay? I'm not doing that. All right, so as I walk in the stadium, on the concourse, I see my classmate. And she says how, man, she has this camera on her that she wasn't, I guess, supposed to have or whatever. And it was like just the DJI, little small camera on the stick. I was like, look, man, let me get that. Let me get that. So I went down on the field. And, yeah, man, I promise you, I talk about when I see people on the sidelines without a camera or whatever. And, look, I can't talk about them anymore. Because at the end of the day, that was me.
That's what you did. That's how you represented. No camera. Photography credential with no camera.
Look, man, I was supposed to be in the press box. I wasn't supposed to be on the field. I was.
Did you read it wrong?
No. So the thing is, with the Bayou Classic, so many people put in for credentials. So many people. So you may have people there with the school, with a media outlet, with the band. There's a separate credential just for halftime, Robbie. Okay, just for halftime.
So if you got your regular media credential, you can't get out for halftime? You got to clear?
So you have to put in for the different. So if you need a halftime one, I don't see why you would need both. But if you need a halftime one, if you need just a press box one, if you need a field pass because you're going to be shooting, if you're the videographer, there's different credentials for it.
I mean, halftime's a show, man.
Hey, it was. Shout out to
no shade to Bayou Classic or nothing, because, I mean, it'd be other games that move like this. But to your point of so many people to be on the field with no camera, honestly, you didn't have to take your friend's camera. You would have been just fine.
I want to be abide by the rules, man. Now they were down there checking. There was a guy in his suit, and he was going around, and he was making sure that, hey, y'all got your credentials, Now, they weren't checking on cameras like that.
Right.
But I want to abide by the rules. That's all.
That sounds like you. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm a rule follower.
That was sarcastic, man.
You one of the few at Bayou Classic that follow the rules.
Hey, look, it is what it is. And Robbie, see, he talking like that. Let me tell you why he talking like that. He was my GM when we worked at the airport in Lafayette years ago. All right, so he was the boss man. And there was a few things I did that he called me in the office for, okay?
A few?
Look, I was a lead agent on the ramp. I was the supervisor making sure that the team was out, and I wanted to build camaraderie, Meg. That's what I wanted to do, all right? I wanted to be out there and make sure that my team was ready to retrieve that plane that was coming in so we can make sure we get those bags to claim within 20 minutes. But Robbie wanted them there within 15 minutes, and that's what I wanted to make sure that we were outside. And I had an idea to say, hey, y'all want to play football while we out here? And some things happened. Nobody got hurt, okay? But, hey, we was outside ready to meet that plane when it came in, though.
I'm playing football on the tarmac, bro.
Okay, that's what I said. So small airport, right? I go upstairs, I'm grabbing some lunch, and I look out the window, and I see a football game going on outside, and it's my employees. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And so I run downstairs, and we have a not-so-nice meeting for a minute. It wasn't good for Kev.
No, you know how weak I'd be if I was on the plane landing, and I'm seeing football through the air.
You seen a post route at the gate?
It was not. The planes were not there yet. Okay, we don't want to damage any airplanes, any engines. Mm-hmm. Look, that was like my sophomore junior year of college.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there in a criminal justice class, okay? supervisor calls and says, hey, can you come in a little early? You got to have a meeting about what happened yesterday. And if I'm being honest to everybody back home, Robbie was an asshole back then, all right? An asshole.
I've grown.
Didn't trust his employees or
grown.
nothing, okay? Asshole. And this is when you knew he was pissed off. He had one little sweat drop. Used to just drop down his face. Just one. Turn a little red, a little peachy, a little red, and then you get in there, and he's like, what were y'all thinking? And it's an office of like 10 people in there. And nobody, for some reason, they were scared of this white man. I don't understand. But they were scared of this white man. And I was like, they were like, where'd you get the idea from? I was like, Buffalo. But it was true. There was an airport in Buffalo, and the ramp agents were out there playing basketball. They had a basketball goal and everything. So, we didn't have a goal, so I had a football in the trunk. Y'all want to play football? That's how that
You
happened.
did it to build camaraderie, though.
I did. And look, 13 years later, I'm still in the industry, and look,
See how much you've learned? You don't play football on the ramp no more.
I don't work outside no more. I got an office. It's next to yours.
It is. See how much we've grown since then? Elevation.
Yeah.
Elevation. We just keep
See?
moving up.
Yeah. But no, back to the classic, okay? So, look, Southern had
Come on, Pales.
a difficult year. I mean, going into the Bayou Classic, they were, I believe 1-10. And, you know, Graham was having a pretty decent season. And, you know, honestly, I didn't, the energy in the Dome, it was quiet. It was quiet. The first 2 quarters, it was no energy whatsoever, especially on the Southern side. Grambling side, of course, they were up. But as, you know, third quarter and that fourth, when Graham was up, I think by 10 early in the fourth, you know, you started seeing, you know, a little bit of action from Southern. And then they score, and Graham missed that kick. And he had 2 chances at it, by the way. He had two chances at that kick. And the second one was just wide left, and the momentum just shifted. And, you know, Southern took the lead, and then Graham was driving. I think they completed like a 42, 43-yard pass. They in Southern territory. And that very next play, wish I had it loaded up, but that very next play, man, on that fumble, and it was over. It was over. And I'm glad it happened because when we knew they were about to hire Marshall Faulk. But as we all know, you can go 0-10, 0-11, but as long as you beat that rival, you're okay. Especially in that Southern versus Grambling rivalry from all these years. It don't matter what happened. As long as you beat Grambling, if you're Southern, and vice versa.
What was your favorite part about the weekend?
As far as what? The game?
No, just in general, the atmosphere, anything.
I mean, I've been to the Classic a few times. I think my favorite part was my little cousin, Jaden Rogers. He's number 67. He's the nose for Southern. And look, it was his junior year. Haven't been able to see him play because I've been shooting LSU on Saturdays. The games, the timelines never matched up. You know, if LSU was at home, he was on the road, or, you know, I traveled to Bama and they're playing at home. So I never got a chance to see him play since high school. So to be able to see him, look, I tell Katie all the time, the fact that I'm able to live through him, because he's doing everything I want to do, man. He's doing everything. You know, so he's starting on the line at Southern, and to finally see him play in person, that was the main reason I put in for the credential, because I wanted to take pictures of him. So when I got there, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be in the press box, and he's going through the files, and he gives me a field pass. First thing I thought was I could have took pictures of him. So I got all this iPhone footage, you know. At least he can kind of create a reel or something of him. And he was getting doubled the entire game. So, you know, that's saying something, Big J. But that was probably my favorite thing. And look, he's never lost to Graham. He's going into his senior season. So most definitely proud of him, though. Most definitely.
That's awesome.
It's dope. Yeah. Well, it worked out that you did have that camera.
Yeah, well, yeah, it did. You know, that 17 Pro Max got that 8x zoom on it, so I was able to, you know.
Hey, I ain't seen that footage, too.
Yeah. Hey. And, hey, did you ever get those Meta glasses? We talked about that.
Not yet. Christmas is still on the way.
All right. I was showing that to a guy. Just wanted to a guy this past weekend. It's good content, man. It's good content. Robbie, I know you use your GoPro on top of your camera.
Yep. Yep. I'm liking the GoPro stuff, man. It's coming in handy. I'm still trying to learn how to edit it the best way and things like that. Still playing around with that, but it's good to have on the top of the camera. Like which game was it where we had the pick six and they ended up right in our lap on that one? Was it? It wasn't. It was a night game. I don't think it was Arkansas.
Was it A&M?
Who was before? Yeah, I think it was A&M. And then the block punt too.
Mm-hmm.
That happened right in front of us.
Oh.
I got all that on the GoPro. That was fun. The ball landed basically like in Kevin and I's lab right in front of us. That was a great moment. So all that's on the GoPro. So it's nice to have it on there. You catch stuff you don't normally catch.
Yeah.
I got to get better with posting content, man, especially behind the scenes.
Yeah, you
Got
used
so
to go
much
pretty
stuff.
hard at one point. Like last
Yeah.
season.
It's just the editing process didn't work. Now the 3 podcasts it's like I'm glad we finally made the decision to put everything under one umbrella. Because when it's all separate, you're logging into separate email accounts and separate podcast accounts, and then it's just a lot. Separate Instagram. So now I'm just using one source, push everything out, versus having to, move everything all over the place.
Night Train family.
Yeah. Look, and also
Who's looking for sponsorship, by the way?
most definitely. Hey, I reached out to a few. Once we finish this, once we log off, I'll tell you, hey man, we got something coming from Houston as well. All right, so that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
Bring it in, man. Bring it in.
Hey, look, right now we're at about 60,000 views from yesterday or over the week since we had Ori on that Thursday, Thanksgiving night. So look, y'all, I keep trying to tell y'all,
That was a good show.
y'all can go to the newspaper, y'all can go wherever you want, but nowhere else in Bogalusa are you getting 60,000 views, baby. It's not happening. All right? So we're going to talk a little more about that. And yeah, Drew's in the comments talking about playing random football at work. Yes, camaraderie. That's a leader, It's a leader right there. Okay? All right, took one for the team. Nobody else wanted to say anything. And you know what?
I will say that
It
in
was
that
me.
office that day, you stepped up and said it was you.
It was.
And look
All
how
right.
far you've come. That's
Hey.
a whole new level of respect. I was like, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Okay,
You know what?
all
You know what,
right,
Meg?
all right.
And at the end of the day, I'm the only one. He had his minions now. He had his people he was developing and pouring into. Okay, where are they now? Where are they now? I'm the only one. I'm the only one still in the industry, man. 13 years strong.
The last survivor for sure.
How many airports have you run now?
What, 5? Mm-hmm. 5. Lafayette, Memphis, D.C., Dallas, Houston. Yeah, 5.
Houston, we are the third largest hub in the country, I believe, out of
Yeah.
all the airports. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But just came from the
little
largest.
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, started throwing bags on those 30 seaters.
Started on footballs next to those 30 seaters.
Hey, I've grown since then. Hey, look, man, let's move on. We got, speaking of Southern, they hired Marshall Faulk. Do you all, now, we know he just came from Deion's staff. Do you see the same output that, Deion got at Jackson State? Do you think this was a brand hire? Do you think this was him getting his first step in coaching? What do you think about this hire, Meg?
I think it's both. I think that it's a win as far as I guess branding, because you got a big name. You got a big name, come down to Baton Rouge, and that's no slight to Graves, that's no slight to Dooley. In the past, they just didn't work out, unfortunately, and they were more internal because in the sense that Graves was obviously promoted, and then Dooley, his track record, he stayed in the SWAC. He came from Prairie View at one point. Came from Prairie View when they hired him. So when it, in terms of the national search or so, it proved that you did actually do a national search. You go out and get a guy that was at Colorado. So, and he's seen success now, to a certain degree. Not this past year, but I think that it should put seats. I mean, should put butts in the seats. I like what he said in his press conference. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but I like what he said. Like, look, I know people like to leave at halftime, but remember that football will be played in the third and fourth quarter, and that kind of okay. You talking my language now? Because Southern ain't seen that this season. So I do like that. I like it from both sides. And yeah, I mean, the way Southern season went this season, aside from the big win at the Bayou Classic, I mean, you can really only go up from here.
Yeah, I'm hoping he does good over there. I've always been a fan. And even if it is just a big splashy hire, you know what? It's his shot. Let's see what he does with his shot, Hopefully he knocks it out of the park, and it'd be good for the school. I know that. So, but I don't know much about his coaching history. So, but I wish him nothing but the best there.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at branding wise, that SU, everybody knows it already. I think just when you hire somebody like that, look, when Deion went to Jackson State, it was like overnight success. I mean, they had that large stadium. It was packed. He was there a few years. But with Marshall Faulk coming to Baton Rouge, look, we just had 2 major press conferences on the same day. One at LSU, one at Southern. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but leaving LSU on those nights when Southern also has a night game, traffic, heavy traffic. I can only imagine it's going to get worse. Because I do believe you'll see success overnight. I mean, look, think about it. They won 2 games this year, So you're gonna see success from what they did this season going on to 2026. I do believe.
Yeah, I wish him nothing but the best as well in that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see who he keeps on the staff. Do you see kids jump in the portal? I don't know.
Hey, they might jump in the portal for the name. You never know. Sometimes the name does that, right? You can improve the team just by having the name, and he's got the name. He's got the history, right? So, if nothing else, that might bring in the portal folks. So you never know. So next year might be a big year for him.
Travis Hunter want to stick with Deion. Who they got him?
There you go. That's a good point.
Heisman, yeah. We got championship week. This week, championship week, man. It kicks off what I believe Friday, yeah.
I think so.
Some of the big games. Look, man, for one, I didn't realize, when did North Texas leave the Sun Belt?
That's been some years. It's been some years.
What,
sure.
2, 3?
I wouldn't say more than 2 or 3.
More than that.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 5.
Yeah, maybe like 5.
Because I'm thinking about when I was in school.
More.
When I saw North Texas versus Tulane, like, what?
Yeah.
When did that happen? When did that happen? You got that. You got Boise, UNLV, of course. Man, that Ohio State, Indiana. That 1-2, and it's still 1-2 ranking.
It's a 1-2. I think it's still 1-2.
Has that ever happened before? Have you ever seen 1-2 in the championship game leading into it?
In a conference championship, I don't know.
I will say the loser will get knocked out of having that bye week, so that's a very important game for them.
I mean, how well do we really think Indiana's going to do against Ohio State?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really covered Indiana, No. A few weeks ago when I was like ranked number 2. Normally when you see Indiana, it's basketball.
Who was it? Who was it they were playing the other day when you had the toe tap to win it at the end?
You talking in the back of the end zone?
Yeah. Who were they playing?
I don't know who they were playing. I saw that though.
Damn.
You got.
I don't feel like that was
been top ranked just about all season.
Yeah. They're still undefeated, right?
Yeah, that's the only reason they number 2, because if they lose a game, they dropping.
Yeah. You got Virginia, Duke. But of course, look, they meet again You got Georgia versus Bama in Atlanta. Georgia, look, actually, Bama has had Georgia's number for years.
Mm-hmm.
For years. And I know a long time it was Saban, leading that team, but still, look, man, Kirby Smart, he hasn't been able to defeat them in those big games. And Alabama has been known every year. Look, man, they may lose early, but somehow, in some way, they get back into the conversation. Somehow.
I think, I don't know, I'm going to take Georgia. I think Georgia's going to take them this time. I don't know why. And maybe it's because Bama beat them earlier this year, right? So, revenge game, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
You got a taste of them already? A little bit of a revenge game. It's in Georgia. Home crowd, basically. I don't know. I'm going to lean Georgia on that one. We'll see what happens, but might come down to the wire.
I don't have a pick in this one necessarily, but I do want to applaud Kalen DeBoer for, I know, I guess fans were a little sour about that hiring, especially with how they started in his first year as well. But the way he's been able to keep Bama up top this season has been so impressive. Ty Simpson has been impressive. I didn't feel a way about him getting hired necessarily, but I'm just very impressed with how he's been able to maintain their success. Because when LSU played them, they were number 4. So
yeah,
good for him.
I expected them to fall off when he got there, but he's
so
hanging.
When you look at the rankings, I believe they came out today.
Mm-hmm.
If Bama loses, that gives them 3 losses.
Yep.
Texas is waiting to get in with 3 losses. Do they make the jump? I mean, you would think so because Texas defeated Bama earlier in the year. What was that score? 34-24? It was.
Don't let him get it off.
3rd ranked Texas versus 4th ranked Bama. So Bama has a lot to play for in this game. But honestly, if I am Bama, I wouldn't want to play this game at all because this game can knock me out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I mean, same thing for BYU. I mean, they're ranked 11th. And I don't think they're going to win their game. I'd be shocked if they win their game.
Yeah.
So you got number 9 and number 11 that have potential to go down this week that are right on that curve right there. And you got Texas and Vanderbilt and Miami sitting all right there, 12, 13, 14.
In the hunt.
All idle.
But I do like how now, this championship game, in a few of them matter. Mm-hmm. They matter. Especially Ohio State, Indy, Texas Tech, BYU. I believe if anybody is in a good spot, it will be Ole Miss and A&M not having to play in it. Mm-hmm. Because, Indy loses to Ohio State, and then if Texas Tech loses, if Georgia loses, if Ole Miss gets a bye maybe.
Yeah. But do you think the committee should penalize Alabama, who made a conference championship game, and drop them out of the college football playoff when a team like, I don't know, Texas is idle this week and move them into their spot? They didn't make the conference championship. You were not as good in the regular season to get where Bama got, and Bama gets an extra game. They lose that extra game. Now you're going to penalize them for it.
Yeah. I wonder if I know they just switched over a few years ago, that East versus West in the SEC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder, does that play a role when you look at Ole Miss being 11-1, and then Bama being 10-2? does that switch, now make Bama play in that game? But if I'm Ole Miss, I'm sitting pretty. I don't think that, a few years ago, who was that? Was that Miami? Not Miami. Who was that they lost their quarterback? Florida State.
Mm-hmm. Third string. See you later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think you penalize Ole Miss. Look, they're 11-1, and if you do penalize them, drop them 10th, 11. They're still in the playoff, and with them getting their offensive coordinator back,
yeah, they got their OC back. So
yeah. So I think they'll be fine, but it's gonna be an interesting week, and that kicks off, like I said. You got 5 games, 4 games on Friday, and then you got 5 games on Saturday. So a lot of good football is going to be played this weekend. And Meg, did you cover, or Robbie, did y'all cover UL at any point this year?
I covered UL for the Southern Miss game. That was homecoming weekend. Yeah.
They're bowl eligible.
Oh yes, by the skin of their teeth, y'all.
Hey, I saw a clip that said they made a list of
We're having one of the longest active streaks for bowling.
and they're on the list with Georgia, Oklahoma, Bama, Clemson, Iowa, Ohio State, Memphis, Oregon, and Notre Dame. So that's 8+ years of bowl eligibility.
Yep.
it's impressive.
It's elite company. I'll admit that.
Yeah. Were you in school?
With the exception of last year, because of course UL played in the conference championship game. I'm sorry, y'all. The Pels just went to overtime. With the exception of that game, which was a disaster. I just and look, love my Cajuns, love Coach Dez, all of that. I guess biasedly, I don't like when they have to rely on the last game to be bowl eligible. Like it's just kind of frustrating seeing how the games will play out throughout the season, and then it's like, oh, ULM at the end of the year. Okay, beat ULM in overtime, the last game of the season, so we bowling, which is great. But it's frustrating when it gets to the end of the season for that.
Yeah, it's almost just like LSU.
Oh, for sure. Exactly. But also, going into overtime with ULM, come on, man, come on. Like, what?
Hey, man, it's a rivalry game, man.
Okay.
Look, I remember when I was at UL, those teachers used to hate, man. My communications teacher, she hated if we wore any type of LSU to school. And it's like, that's not even our rivalry. Like, that's not even the rival. Like, the rivals upstate, y'all so worried about LSU. For what? Like, she would take away points if we wore LSU to class.
Damn.
And we had to do this speech at the end of the semester, and it was like he had to do like this PowerPoint presentation and all that. And mine was on why LSU is not the rival for UL. I don't know why that lady passed me, boy, but she did. Because she was pissed. She was heated.
Probably said I need you about my class.
I want to read that article.
Man, I went to YouTube, pulled old game clips from when they played like years ago, and I did like stadium comparison, like by capacity and all that. I was like, that they not our rival. They worrying about Alabama. They are most definitely not worrying about us.
Yeah.
At all. But
It's a never-ending argument.
you know, and when you look at Meg, when did you get to UL?
13?
So okay, you were there for a few of the bowl games.
Mm-hmm.
Because they went to what? Let's see, 4. They went to the New Orleans Bowl 5 out of 6 years. Look,
Yep.
in 2011, that first year they went, man, you'd have thought we were going to the SEC championship game. As many people, and I promise you, like I was sitting right behind the end zone when what's his name, Brett Baer, when he made that kick to win in I don't know if it was overtime, but it was a last second kick, I think against San Diego State, if I remember correctly. And man, I think it was just different being on campus, knowing the football players, living in the same dorm with them, and then you actually go see them out there, Blaine Gaucher, Dean, like when you see them out there actually balling and winning that game, because that was the first bowl game since the 70s, I think, that year they went to New Orleans. And, you know, that was a brief time, but it was back to back to back to back when UL was in that New Orleans Bowl. Like the first year was like, man, I can't believe it. Second year, same thing. Third year was like, okay, you can send us somewhere else. And then, you know, after 2016, you start seeing the crowd them down because we were going to the New Orleans Bowl every single year. Now, they were winning, but it was getting a little tiring though, man. But we'll see where they're going in their bowl season. But yeah, before we get out of here, we got to speak on the Saints. I know it's not really much to talk about. No, it's not. Okay. Before we get in that topic, once again, this episode is brought to you by Blackstone Property Company in Bogalusa, Louisiana. Doing a lot back home, restoring old houses, old buildings. I know if anybody has seen the Coke plant, that venue there where they host a lot of weddings and events, you know, that's what they're doing back home. So make sure y'all check out all the great things that Blackstone Property Company is doing in Bogalusa. Also, once again, Night Train Media, man, we got a plethora of podcasts for you. Many different topics, okay? Many different topics for you. Got the Night Train. We got Unqualified Analysts. We got Double Shots of K, and we got Drewville. So make sure y'all check us out on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and get your dose of whatever you like, you know. So Night Train is going to be every Monday night, 8 p.m. We're going to be live. We're going to be on Facebook. And then it'll be immediately uploaded to Spotify and Apple. And then the following day, you can catch it, rewatch it on the Facebook page, or you can rewatch it on YouTube. So thank you for everybody that's been following us over the past few months. And as of late, as we've been providing a little bit more content for y'all. But as we close it out tonight, look, man, the New Orleans Saints. It's been a tough season, y'all. I think we knew that heading into it, though. But they fall to the Dolphins, 21-17. What an opportunity late to take the lead. Chris Olave dropped it, and he dropped it. Like, that was a game-winning touchdown right there. But I think that just sums up the season. It is what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a Kamara trade maybe somewhere in the offseason. Look, how many years does he have left? We're in a rebuilding mode. We already got rid of Shaheed. You know, you release Brandon Cooks. We should have picked Shador. We should have kept Jameis. It's been a long season. Meg, what is your take on the Saints? Like we see you on the internet and on the news outside the facility in Metairie every now and then. What are you hearing in New Orleans about the Saints, man?
Nothing as far as like moves go. The Shaheed thing was kind of lingering for a minute, and I guess like in the grand scheme, you had to make a splash move to get something back, and now, you know, you lose a receiver in him. You lose, like, obviously your top return guy. And now they're, like, having to groom Pettis and Mason Tipton and that. And they've been kind of solid with that, especially with how they operated during the preseason. So nothing as far as moves go. But like you said, like, it just sums up the season, like having to play from behind, try to make plays late, and then falling short. I mean, you've seen it with the Cardinals. You've seen it with other teams throughout the season, against other teams throughout the season, making that late push. I remember talking to Devon Godshaw. I want to say it might have been after the Patriots game, but don't quote me on that. And he was like, one of their coaches said that they were playing as if they were spotting teams 14 early. And so they wanted to like get out of that play, get out that mindset, of course. And that was like a big thing for them defensively. Now, mind you, I'll say I disagree with the shooter thing because Kelvin Banks has been doing a phenomenal job. But especially with how the offensive line is now, and he's still consistently there. Obviously the youngest, but yeah. I don't know. I mean, Kellen says, look, we're going through the growing pains. We just got to find a way to be better, which obviously a lot of them are saying the same thing. They're frustrated as well, too. But a team that's still like kind of fresh and very young in a lot of those instances, like, offensively, the defensive backfield is young. They just trying to figure it out. And you're over halfway. You're over midway through the season now. It's only so much more figuring out you can do. But at this moment, I want to say, like, the Saints have, like, the second pick in the draft. So build from here and whatever that looks like, figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's growing pains right now, right? So, like, what do you do with the rest of the season? I mean, see what you got, and then it's going to all depend on off-season moves. What do you do? Who do you keep? Who do you not keep? How can you draft? What free agents can you pick up? Because this year ain't it. So it's how can you change it for next year at this point? And if we're going to lock up the number 1 or 2 or 3 pick, it seems like that's going to be the case. So I don't know. I think there's some upside with Kellen, but time will tell with the roster. I think the roster is the biggest piece right now is just to see what we have that we can utilize in the future and how can we change it to make it better for next year, because at this point, that's all there is to play for is next year, because, I mean, you're too far gone now. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, when I look at this season, look, I don't think we expected much more. Mm-hmm. Like, we knew, all right, first-year head coach, we had the quarterback, conversation for the last few years. Who's going to start? We start off the season with Rattler, and it's just like, okay, we kind of knew heading into the season this was going to be a rebuilding year. We knew that. But on the upside, I know, Robbie, you're a data person, right? You do a lot of deep diving. When you look at how we lost games this year, we lost, I believe I wrote it down, we lost 5 games by 1 possession this year. 5. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're 2-10. If we take care of business in those 5 games, we're 7-5, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. So there's upside to it. You're gonna have the off season. You'll have Kellen Moore going into his second season. I believe, maybe not next year, but look, historically, the NFC South has been the worst division on and off a few years, and a lot of times, the Saints has been in that conversation. I remember it was a few years ago, like top 2 teams had like losing records, and they were still going to make the playoffs. One of them were, mm-hmm. And that's just the NFC South for you. It's not like back in the day when you had Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, and who was quarterback there at one point? I know Jameis was there. And then you had that year with Brady, but
I feel like Jameis been everywhere, man.
Yeah, he has, man. But look, you can't do nothing but smile when you see Jameis Winston on the internet, man. I'm happy for Jameis, man. I'm very happy. But before we get out of here, Robbie, you alluded to LSU's schedule for next year. So when we look at it, we got a lot of great games to shoot at next year. Now, I don't know how y'all do it over there at WGNO as far as which games you go to, but I know I'm going to be at every last home game next year, man. Every last one. I know when we start the season, and look, you have to, when you're a shooter and when you're doing things on your own, you got to make sure you make all those games. Even those Western Kentucky games when you don't want to take that drive, the Southeastern. See, man, you in New Orleans, baby. You right down the street. We coming from Houston. We gotta hit that road. What? Gotta hit the road and be there. But look, I think the only game right now that's actually scheduled with a date is that week 1 game, when Clemson comes to town, as Robbie likes to say, the real Death Valley, they'll be there. Stands are going to be packed for McNeese. McNeese going to be coming. You got Bama. Bama's coming back to Baton Rouge. And is it the following season when Bama leaves the schedule?
I think so.
So we got Bama one more
That
time in
sucks.
Baton Rouge.
I hate that.
Yeah. But you know what?
I mean, they'll be back at some point, but
What if they did
Missed
that?
the mark on that, man.
We did, but what if the SEC did that to be more relevant in this new playoff conversation? Because now LSU doesn't have to worry about Bama. I mean, when you think about historically how the schedule is, both teams take a bye that week before heading into that game. So better opportunity for both schools now not have to play each other. But
I mean, you looking at what 5 SEC teams making the playoff this year? I mean, come on.
yeah,
We'll see how
12
it shapes up in
spots.
the future. Yeah,
Then you got Texas. Texas comes.
I want to see that one.
Now
I remember the last
I
time
do
Texas was
see.
in Tiger
Finally.
Stadium. Have they been there?
No.
Not since
So
they
I don't know
That'd
about
be
ever, but since Texas been in the SEC, they haven't played.
Yeah. I think
that'd be
Oklahoma, their first time coming here was last year.
Yeah, we shot that one. Yeah.
Now,
Wait,
I believe, Rob, we were at that
Texas,
game
Joe Burrow's here.
for A&M this year, and I'm seeing A&M is back in Baton Rouge next year. Back-to-back years.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, didn't they say Ole Miss? We're going to Ole Miss next year,
Yep.
Let me see.
and we
Yeah.
played at Ole Miss this
Yeah.
year, didn't we?
Yeah. So those
So
are.
that's back to back for that. So maybe they're not doing the alternate thing anymore.
I wonder why. I don't know. I guess maybe that's that transition before, because I believe
Oh, it
Ole
might-
Miss
yeah,
is
it
one
might
of
be
those
that.
3 schools that we're still going to continue playing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
And we're
wait,
getting Mississippi State too.
just thought about this. I forgot the reporter's name, but he dropped some information today about the possibility of, I believe it was Bama. If they would have lost that Iron Bowl, he is saying that he was hearing that because they all have the same agent. One guy, I forgot his name, but one guy is the main agent for 14 out of the 16 head coaches in the SEC.
Jimmy Sexton.
Yes.
Jimmy Sexton.
Yes. And they were saying if Bama would have lost that game, there were rumblings about a possibility of maybe Kiffin going to Bama.
Yep.
I'm going to send you that link, Meg. I'm going to send you that link.
Saying DeBoer would have been out and Kiffin would have been in.
That's for sure his agent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
Jimmy
know what?
Sexton is Kiffin's agent.
Now, you remember this, and no one has caught on to this yet. But the media outlets kept saying 3 schools that Lane Kiffin could have gone to. Ole Miss, Florida, LSU. But he said there were 4 schools. He said 4. But the 4th school was never named. So I wonder if there's any truth to that.
Well, you notice the
Oh, with the
decision didn't
boys.
come out till after the Iron Bowl finished, right?
Say it again.
So you notice the decision didn't come out till after the Iron Bowl finished
And that's what he said.
Saturday night.
That's exactly what he said.
They were supposed to come out Saturday morning, supposedly, and then it just drug all day long. But if you listen to Lane and everybody else, the conversation had already been had earlier in the day. So is that true? Is that not true? Who knows?
And he said,
You know?
they said Lane Kiffin wasn't a part of that conversation. It was like the school administration. Those officials
Yeah.
were meeting about that. But I always wondered until I saw that little clip. They did say 3 schools, but Lane Kiffin said 4. And who
That'd
else?
have been a curveball at the end.
It would have been. And who else? I mean, look, he hinted towards the fact that Nick Saban said, go to LSU. Go to LSU. So if Bama would have been on the table, I don't think he was going to LSU. I think he would have been at Bama. I mean, when you look at the job now, if his love with NIL and being able to, navigate through that, he said that made a difference in his decision as far as between Ole Miss, Florida, and LSU. They said they had a better package for the NIL portion of it. But I just wonder if that story is true, being the fact that you saw everyone say 3 schools and Lane Kiffin said 4. But just to finish off the schedule, you're going to see LSU on the road traveling, going to Arkansas. So that's another one. Arkansas was here. Arkansas was in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, we shot Arkansas here.
Yeah, and then on the road at Auburn, Kentucky. Man, that credential going to be tough to get when they go back to Ole Miss. That's going to be a tough credential to get.
That's going to be a tough environment, man. They're going to be hostile over there.
And he goes to Knoxville. And they still don't like him.
Yeah. He's going to have a hell of a year his first year.
I can't wait till they release these dates.
Yeah.
I can't wait to release these dates.
Might have to try and hit some away games this year for the first time. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. It's always good, man, when we're out there shooting. And look, I'm to the point to where I get to the game right before kickoff. I'm not sitting in the media rooms like I did at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But every now and then, man, you pull up in the media room and there goes Meagan. Meagan, she getting her story ready, making sure she got everything ready to go. She put that camera on, and then she's out on that field. So it's always good to see you, Meg. I always call you the GOAT every time I post about you on Instagram. I know, my Lisa mentioned you at our Homecoming Live episode back in October, but you're always welcome to come back to Unqualified Analysts, Meg.
And I appreciate y'all. It was a good time. Just talking
fun.
ball,
That was
man.
good. Maybe we can bring Unqualified Analysts to some tailgating one day.
Oh. Hey,
Yeah,
man,
we did that before. So
Yeah. Hey, man, we can. That'll be
Good little spot out there,
Yeah. I mean, technically, all you really need is to pay for the spot. That's it.
Yeah.
And then, have our own little game day, man.
Hey, man.
Honestly, Robbie, you're on to something. You're on to something right now. Because if we didn't have to be in the stadium, we just went out there and tailgated at LSU and we just set it up.
man, imagine the content.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Fans.
we could set it up just right before we go in the stadium. To your point, you don't want to go sit in the media room all early. Let's do something before.
And now I'm to the point I know how to just go ahead and set it up and take it to the truck and we go into the stadium. We got a process. Quick.
See, I do like being on the field when they're warming up because I'm starting to get better shots. As I learn, only second season shooting, so I'm starting to try to find my own way here. But I do enjoy when you get the high caliber teams like the Bamas and the Texases coming through. Head over to that sideline because you never see them, right? We see LSU all the time. I'll get them in the first week or second week up close and personal. But let's get Texas. Let's get Bama shots, up close and personal while they're warming up because we can get close then. I sent you the video, Kev, of who was at Western Kentucky in their warm-ups, and they thought they were all that going into that game, boy, in warm-ups. But, they played good, though. But, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to get the other side of it sometimes.
Yeah, I always go to the away. Look, a few years ago, I was in that LSU tunnel right next to the goal post. Look, if you ever been on the field or if you ever watching the game and you see that, the recruits that are there, the family, or the coaches and the players, it's a lot of people on those LSU sidelines. I'd rather just shoot. And Meg, I brought you there, I believe. I forgot one of those games. You get that shot of the fireworks.
I ain't left that spot since.
Robbie told me about the spot.
We did, for the UCLA game, the first one I did last season, he took me to the LSU side, and Kevin almost got run over by a tuba player that was screaming at him. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought we was going to get in a fight with the band.
Hey, that's back when I first got on that iron.
I believe it.
Yeah, Kevin was a little bigger back then.
Gave a little shove.
And then the next game, I was like, let me check it from the other side, see if I can sit right between the goalposts and get them as they come out. And I haven't moved since. In two seasons. Oh, yeah. You're right there with the fireworks as they come up. And now they make it a point as they come out, they hit the sideline and they don't stop. They come all the way down to the west side. Mm-hmm. And they're all, that's where they pray up before the game. But you get some really good content as they run right up to you in that other end zone. It's some good spots.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah, but
To your point, like, granted, I get it. They want to have the recruits on the field and stuff like that, but like navigating that with equipment, So yeah,
I'm
no,
just-
shout out to y'all because I shoot from the other side now.
hey, that fireworks shot, man. That
It
fireworks
looks
shot is
good.
it.
It looks good from that side. You're right.
Follow the fireworks up to the sky.
And if they time it right, as you follow it to the sky, here comes a flyover.
Yeah, yeah. But you know,
fireworks.
Robbie, you know, I don't know if ATC would like that. I don't know if they're like pyrotechnics.
Fireworks don't go
coming.
that high, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Well, look, man. We got Night Train Media. Once again, this episode is brought to you by Blackstone Property Company. And Meg, thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for
Appreciate
stopping
you.
by. You know you're always welcome to come back on the Night Train Media, Unqualified Analysts. Make sure, you know, we're going to continue sharing your content. Meagan Glover TV. Doing big things. Look, been all over the state. KTC. I believe you were in Alexandria at one point. Now you're in New Orleans. So doing big things. I'm proud of you. And as always, thank you for joining the show, man.
Appreciate y'all. It was fun.
Most definitely. Once again, thank y'all for watching this episode of Unqualified Analysts with Kev and Robbie. And make sure you check us out on future episodes on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good night.
These two don't even know what they're talking about. You're watching Unqualified Analysts.